Manandi. Today's a special day. Almost all of you know. Today is the appearance day of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And it would help me to know the audience a little bit better. Are there persons here who are very new and would kind of need an introduction to the topic? Who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Anybody in that category? Yeah? Oh, on that side, okay. Okay. So I'm going to look over here, and then I'm going to look over there, sir. I'm going to look back and forth between you two. Look for some acknowledgement. You know who is Krishna, right? You know who is Krishna, right? Okay. And next to... No? You know who is Krishna? You know who he is? Yes. He's not like your friend or something, but you know who he is. Okay. And there's Krishna on the altar. And Krishna's with his flute. And right next to Krishna is Radharani, right? Right. On Krishna's left is Radharani. And the forms of Radha and Krishna, I'll say it slowly. The forms of Radha and Krishna are eternally manifest as two, although they're one entity, just like shine and the sun and sunshine. They're inseparable. You ever find sunshine without sun? No. You ever find sun without sunshine? No. They're inseparable. But the shine is not the sun is not the shine. They're inseparable, but different. So according to very nice teaching, you'll see it later in Sanskrit, this one entity is eternally manifest in two forms. Radha as the shine or the energy, and then there's the Shaktiman or the energetic. Shakti, Shaktiman. Eternally manifest in two forms. Next. When those two forms, which are one entity, manifest in one form, that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna himself, Naumi Krishna Swarupam, in Sanskrit, his name is Krishna, but he's manifesting in the bhava, the mood of love, and the duty, the luster or complexion of Radha. So Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself in the mood of Radha and in the complexion of Radha, because Krishna's form is Shama, blackish, like here. And Radha's form is golden, like molten gold. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself in the mood and the luster of Radha. That's who is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And we're going to hear some things about him, because now it's 550 years ago or something like that, he appeared in Navadvip. We'll hear some more about what Navadvip is. It's the place of his appearance. Just like Krishna appeared in Vrindavan. Well, he appeared in Mathura, and then lived his childhood in Vrindavan, and then he went back to Mathura, and then he went to Dwarka as principal places. Those are Krishna's principal places. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's principal place is Navadvip. Navadvip is along the bank of the Ganges in Bengal, West Bengal. Navadvip. So we're going to hear about Navadvip. We're going to hear about the appearance and the reasons for his appearance. You ready? This is a painting from the British period where Navadvip is pictured along the bank of the Ganges. It looks very pristine, very beautiful, the place of Navadvip. And there are, according to, on the table over here is a set of Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's a biography of Lord Chaitanya's life and his teachings. His life and his teachings. And there are different sections that are just describing his life, and part of what we're going to be discussing this morning is one part, his appearance part. And you see in the painting that's up on the screen here, this is Lord Chaitanya, golden complexion, with many, many, many thousands of associates following behind him, and they're engaged in dancing and chanting Hare Krishna just like we were doing. Mainly we were chanting, a little bit of dancing. But Mahaprabhu was very fond of dancing as well as chanting. And in this Chaitanya Charitamrita, it describes 3 external purposes. And then there's 3 internal purposes, or confidential reasons, things that you can't see and measure, but it exhibited anyway because it was inside. Painting on the screen is a painting of Krishna's speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. Now, when did this speaking of Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna take place? It took place towards the end of the previous Yuga. In the previous Yuga, it was Dwapara Yuga. And the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita is, those of you that know the verse, you can say with me, Sarva dharmam parityaja mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yishyami ma suchaha. Ma suchaha means don't fear, have no doubt. Everything can be accomplished by one thing, and all other things are subordinate to that one thing. Just like up on the ceiling here, there's a chandelier. Nice one. And chandelier has some crystal and some lights behind the crystal, so it's kind of soft, diffused light. Chandeliers are nice. But what's the chandelier if it wasn't suspended by that thing that's at the top of the chandelier? It's a bunch of mess on the floor. So you have to suspend the chandelier, and then it becomes very nice. Similarly, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita are very nice because they're suspended by this one teaching. All the other teachings are subordinate to and dependent upon the one. What's that one? Mam ekam sharanam. Sarvadharmam parityaja. All other dharmas or subordinate teachings, you can leave them to the side unless and until you follow this one thing. Mame kam sharanam braja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo moksha yishyami masucha. And all sinful activities are eliminated, like completely squeaky clean. One's heart can become completely cleaned of sin by one thing. Mame kam sharanam. After Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita, many things happened, including he ended his pastimes. And when Krishna ended his pastimes, this is found in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Krishna was considering Kali Yuga is about to begin. And in Kali Yuga, people have not very good spiritual quality. And how are they going to understand this teaching of Bhagavad Gita in Kali Yuga? It's meant for people. But they won't understand unless it's explained, or unless there's someone showing by example. So I could send somebody and give those teachings to explain my Bhagavad Gita teachings to others. But who better could do that than myself? So that's one of the reasons, external reasons, of Krishna to appear in this world. How will people understand how to live by this message? So he decided to appear. And there's two verses that you all know, many of you know, and we'll say them together. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam adharmasya tadatmanam srajamyaham. So notice there's a word that's twice, and it's dharma and adharma. When there's abhyutanam adharmasya, then tadatmanam srajamyaham. There's discrepancy in religious principles. I appear. And then, paritranaya sadhunam vinachaya saduskritam dharma sangstapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So, dharma sangstha. Sangstha means he establishes three things. Those who are sadhus, he gives protection. Those who are duskritis, he diminishes their influence. And dharma sangstha, he restores dharma. So he does that in all the four yugas when he comes and appears as the Yuga avatar, in giving the Yuga Dharma. So he does that as Lord Chaitanya also. This is the first external reason, to restore the principles of Dharma, because they become covered and people are not so qualified to know what they are unless they're given a very nice example and nice teachings. That's the first of the four external reasons. The next is to give the Yuga Dharma. What does the Yuga Dharma mean? For each of the four yugas, because the Vedas teach us that time moves in cycles, like summer, fall, winter, spring, and then summer, fall, winter, spring. Or time moves in cycles, day and night, etc. So there's four yugas. They're very long, but in each of the four yugas, there's a particular dharma that's most effective for achieving spiritual perfection, elevation and perfection. In Satyug, dhyayate, or the process of meditation. In Treta Yuga, performance of yajna during the time of Ramachandra. The performance of yajna was especially common and effective. Qualified brahmanas to perform. And in Krishna's yuga, or Dwapara Yuga, it was archana, or performing deity worship. And in all three of those yugas, there's something that's central, that's what's left for Kali Yuga, and that is Nama Sankirtan, or Harer Nama. Harer Nama. Harer Nama Eva Kevalam. Kalo Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva Gatir Anyata. That means there isn't an alternative in this age. Kalo Na Asti Eva. There isn't an alternative to this one thing. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, a second external reason, is he came to manifest in the world the Yuga Dharma, the means of achieving spiritual elevation and spiritual perfection. Look at this. Here's a nice verse in Canto 12 of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the first line says what we just covered. Dhyayate. So Krite, same as Satya Yuga, the first of the four yugas, is Dhyayato, Vishnu, meditation upon Vishnu. In Treta Yuga, Yajato, Makai. Makai means sacrifice. Dvapara, Paricharyayam. This is the deity worship process. And Kalo, in the age of Kali, Hari Kirtana. Here's the translation. Whatever result was obtained in Satya Yuga by meditating on Vishnu, in Treta Yuga by performing sacrifices, and in Dvapara Yuga by serving the Lord's lotus feet can be obtained in Kali Yuga simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. We were just doing. This is the gift of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that we were doing. It's the Yuga Dharma, means of achieving elevation and ultimately spiritual perfection. Here's another verse where the character of Lord Chaitanya is being described. Krishna Varnam. Krishna Varna means in the category of Krishna, but he's Trisha Krishna. He's not of the complexion of Krishna. He's golden, not blackish like Krishna. And he descended with his astras and parshadams and his various associates. Yagyai Sankirtana Prayayar Yajanti Hi Samedasa. This verse is taken from Canto 11. Maybe those of you not familiar with the Bhagavatam, in this section there's great sages, like super sages, the Nava Yogendras. They're like Narada Muni. They can travel even without a vina. They have mystic power. They're perfectly situated in transcendental knowledge. And they visited a yagya that was in a different age being performed by King Nimi. And as the yagya was about to begin, they descended from the sky, and King Nimi stopped the yagya, stood up, paid his obeisances, and said, I don't know who you are, but you're obviously very elevated souls. I have so many nice questions. Can you answer my nice questions? They said, sure. So one by one, the 9 or Nava Yogendras responded. One of those questions was, could you please identify the avatar for each of the 4 yugas? It's a good question. And this is their answer. Karabhajana answered this one. In the age of Kali, intelligent persons, Sumedasa, last line, perform congregational chanting to worship the incarnation of Godhead, who constantly sings the names of Krishna. Although his complexion is not blackish, Trisha Krishna, he is Krishna himself, Krishna Varnam. He is accompanied by his associates, Sangha, and Upanga, his servants, and his astras, his weapons, and confidential companions, Parshadam. That's Lord Chaitanya. So all of these are scriptural references to indicate the second of the 3 external reasons. So one was to teach the principles of Bhagavad Gita by personal example. Second was to give the Yuga Dharma. And here's the third reason pictured here. The third reason pictured here is Advaita Acharya. Now, those of you that are newer, you don't know who is Advaita Acharya, but I'll just quickly explain. When we have kirtan, one of the mantras we chant commonly, always actually, in kirtan is the Pancha Tattva mantra. Pancha means 5, and the aspects of Lord Chaitanya are 5 in number. It goes like this. You can say with me. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivasadi, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. That makes 5. Oh. There's the mantra. Written. Let's say it together again. Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas, Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda is everybody else. That's all of you, Prabhus. You're Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. The Vrinda, the assembly of Gaura Bhaktas. Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. But then there's 5, and what we're now discussing is Advaita Acharya in this Pancha Tattva. So the first 3 are in the category of Vishnu Tattva. what does Vishnu Tattva mean? It's the category, different aspects and manifestations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. So without all the details because of time, Advaita Acharya is in the category of Mahavishnu, who appears to assist Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his pastimes, and here's one of the ways that he assisted in his pastimes. He's, as you see, he's got a nice white beard. He's a little older than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even before he appeared. And he, Advaita Acharya, was an Acharya. He was very learned in the scriptures. And he saw by the symptoms what was said in the scriptures, that in this age of Kali, character goes down. Bad. Manda samanda matayo, manda bhagya hupadrata. Bad. Very unfortunate circumstance. What to do? People suffer unnecessarily. What to do? What to do? He's a very learned person. So he thought of a nice verse from the Upanishads that says, if you want to please the personality of Godhead, his idea was the personality of Godhead should appear in this world, and he can make the situation better. And there's a verse in the Upanishads, amongst many, that says you can satisfy the Supreme Lord just by offering him palmful of water and tulsi manjaris, or tulsi leaves, with devotion, and he'll be pleased. So he sat by the side of the Ganges. You see in the background, there's the Ganges. He took not just water, but Ganges water. And he had many tulsi leaves. He was taking tulsi leaves with his hand, offering the tulsi leaves and Ganges water to his Shalagram Shila. That very same Shalagram Shila is at the place where Advaita Acharya resided at the time, in a place called Shantipur. So, loudly, he was calling, "Oh, Supreme Personality of Godhead, please appear in this world, because it's Kali Yuga and people need help." He didn't say it quite like that, but he said it in Sanskrit. But that's what he was appealing. Later, in this set of books, Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, I was asleep in Svetadweep, in the ocean of milk, and the island in the ocean of milk in Svetadweep, resting in Yoga Nidra. And what happened? I heard this loud calling of Advaita, so I came. That's the third external reason. Should we do it again? To restore the principles of Dharma, to teach the process of achieving elevation and spiritual perfection in this age, Yuga Dharma, Hari Kirtan, Nam Sankirtan, and the loud calling of Advaita Acharya. And those purposes were fulfilled. Now, a little bit before, we had a short discussion about who is Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna himself in this nice painting. There's Krishna himself in his Tribhanga Lalitam, his threefold bending form. And by his side, his left side, is Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani. Or else. So you see the painting, very nice painting, Radha and Krishna. And Krishna, is there something that Krishna can't do? Krishna can do anything because he's all powerful. Nija Sarva Shaktis. Krishna has all power. Now, Krishna became curious. He's omniscient. He's one of his all-knowing bhagas of his Bhagavan features. He's all-knowing. But he had a doubt. He had a desire to know what Radharani's love feels like to Radharani. This is in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he was considering, I'm trying to experience that happiness that she feels, the love that she feels, the qualities in me that accelerate her love for me, but it's not possible. Why is it not possible? He can do anything. So he did anything. He did this one. He said, it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita, only the subject can experience the love the subject feels towards the object. So I have to become the subject, Radha's mood, in order to experience the happiness and the love that Radha feels for me. So he did. He couldn't, but he did, because he's all powerful. He can do anything. So he became Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is Krishna himself. Here's the verse. I made reference to it. Here it is. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikriti Ladini Shakti Asmat. Ladini Shakti, that's Radharani. Ladini Shakti means potency. Ladini means the pleasure, potency. And then Ekatmanav Api, Ekatmanav. Although one, Eka, Api Bhuvi Pura Deha Bedha. Two forms. One entity, Eka Atma, in two forms, Deha Bedam. And that's Krishna and Ladini Shakti, Krishna and Radha. Radha Krishna Pranaya Vikritir. It has one word, just with hyphens in between. Then, second line, we mentioned this. Chaitanyakyam prakatam aduna tadvayam chaikyamaptam radha bhava dyuti subalitam naomi Krishna swarupam. Krishna swarupam. Krishna's own svarupa. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna's form. Krishna himself in the bhava and the luster, the complexion and the ecstasy of Radharani. So there he is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is none other than Krishna in the mood and the complexion of Radha. So he accepted that subjective position to appreciate the object, Krishna, in the way that Radha experiences. So the three confidential. It's translated as the internal reasons, or confident because it's confidential. There's no yardstick that can measure that which is inside. What is inside is the love that Radha feels for Krishna, the happiness she feels in that love for Krishna, and the qualities in him that stimulate that love for him. Subjectively, he experienced all of that as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, golden bodily luster and the bhava of Radha, Krishna himself. Here's a very nice graphic. Now, the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu part, it is said that this painting was commissioned by a quality artist to depict what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually looked like, because artists, what do they know? They do it the best they can. But Krishna in the mood of Radha and the luster of Radha, that's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And that's the internal reason for his appearance. Now here's another painting. On the right side is a painting of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mother, standing holding that tree there. And by his side is Vishnu Priya. Now some of you know that in Sri Vaishnavism, there's some deity of Narayana, let's say Ranganath, reclining on the Nantashesh. And in front There's a festival murti, Utsav murti, smaller, brass. And on either side of Ranganath is Shri and Bhu. Correct? Yes. Those names, Shri and Bhu, they're names of the internal potency of the potent. The Supreme has unlimited potencies, and there are categories. One of those categories is internal potency, is Swarup Shakti, or Antaranga Shakti, his internal potency. Shri and Bhu are two important ones. And there's a third, and that's Nila Shakti. Nila Shakti. This is from Chaitanya Bhagavat, Adi Lila, the second verse of the whole book, saying these personalities were persons in his pastimes. He was married when he was young, a young Brahmin school teacher, taught Vyakarana, taught Sanskrit grammar, as well as Nyaya, because you need both in order to access proper understanding of Sanskrit, the root meaning, the dhatu, and how to understand this and everything else. You need the system of logic. So it's part of what he taught. When he was young as a school teacher, he married. His mother requested, because by this time his father had departed the world, so it was just his mother. His mother requested he became married to Lakshmi Priya, who is Sri Shakti. But in Gaura Lila, she's known as Lakshmi Priya. And one time he was traveling for quite some time. When he was traveling for quite some time, she died out of separation from her husband. And his mother, said, please take another wife. So he agreed. That was Vishnu Priya. Vishnu Priya is the same as Bhu Shakti, or the same as Sita is also Bhu Shakti. Right? Yes. Where did Sita come from? From the earth. Where did Sita go? Back into the earth. Now the earth, the material energy earth, is an expansion of Bhu Shakti. But what received Sita was not the earth, was Bhu Shakti. Spiritual potency, because she's spiritual potency. She's Bhu Shakti. So the earth opened and received her from where she came. And the third is Nila Shakti, or sometimes, this is from this verse from Chaitanya Bhagavat, sometimes known as Lila Shakti, sometimes known as Durga. Just like there's the material goddess Durga, and the material goddess Durga has a spiritual counterpart. Correct? As above, so below. So the below is the Durga that people worship because they want stuff. And she gives stuff. But then there's the spiritual potency Durga, from which the material expansion goddess Durga comes. And that's an internal potency. And that internal potency in Lord Chaitanya's Leela is the Dham. Navadvip. Dham. Here's a little illustration. There's Ranganath on Anantashesh. There's the Utsav Murti with Shri and Bhu Shaktis on either side. Same. Vishnu Priya, Lakshmi Priya. Here's a purport from Srimad Bhagavatam. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's first wife died, his mother requested him to marry for a second time. He was 20 years old, and he was going to take sannyas at the age of 24. Yet, by the request of his mother, he married, saying, as long as I am in household life, I must have a wife. For household life does not mean staying in a house. Real household life means living in a house with a wife. It's a pastime for the Shakti, Man and Shakti to be combined. It's a pastime. Now, can you think of any, my answer is no. Do you know of any other avatar who accepted the sannyas order of life, leaving his Swarup Shakti as a widow? I don't know of any. I don't think there is one. If you know of one, let me know. And it's a mystery. How can Shaktiman separate himself from Shakti? It's a lila. They're actually eternally connected, but it's a pastime. It's a very nice pastime. It's a very nice pastime. I mean, it's perplexing. There's a detail. Here's a detail. When he accepted sannyas, an arrangement was made for his 16-year-old wife, because in these times marriages were done a little earlier. And when the young girl was married, conventionally she was married even before she reached 13. But she stayed with her mother and father, married, not like engaged to be married or boyfriend, girlfriend, married. She knew who she was going to be married to because she was married. She stayed with mom and dad, and on the occasion of the person's birthday, she would cook something, bake something, and come and make an offering to her husband, and then go back home. And when she turned to become a teenager, she'd go live with her husband in his family. But she was already family because she was married. She was 16, and he was 24 when he took sannyas. 16-year-old girl, and the protector of his wife takes sannyas. It's bizarre. I mean, it's not normal, put it that way. So he made an arrangement for a murti of himself that she could worship. This is Vishnu Priya, at 16, received the Dhameshwara Mahaprabhu is still being worshipped. He's standing like this with his hands extended. Not this one. This is giving benediction. This one is, I'm giving myself to you. She was the goddess of fortune, Bhushakti. What she did for the rest of her life was she chanted, and each time she chanted one round on her beads, she would put 1 grain of rice in a pot. And as many times she chanted one round of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, another grain of rice, another grain of rice. It is said, then she gave half away in charity, the other half was her meal for the day. And she lived until she was 90, following that standard. This is biography of Vishnu Priya. I mean, it's not normal. The whole thing is extraordinary. But that was her devotion to her husband. Now this Nila Shakti, this is the Navadvip Dham. It's said to be the crest jewel of all holy places. So let me ask you a question. What's the spiritual abode of Lord Narayana and the goddess of fortune Lakshmi? Vaikuntha. What's the spiritual abode of Ramachandra and Sita? Ayodhya. It's the topmost planet in the realm of Haridham. And what's the eternal abode of Krishna and Radharani? Goloka. Question, what's the abode of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the spiritual world from which he descended? It's called Sweta Dweep. Sweta means white, Dweepa means island. Read carefully, I invite you to read carefully, in Sri Brahma Samhita, and you'll find that Sweta Dweep is in Goloka. There's a quadrant means a quarter. There's a quadrant in Goloka where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu eternally resides with his associates, who he descended with when he came to give the Yuga Dharma. I invite you, those of you that have Srimad Bhagavatam in your home, or if you don't, please get one. On the first canto Srimad Bhagavatam, there's this very nice painting that was Prabhupada's painting from when he brought Srimad Bhagavatam first canto with him from India. First canto, 3 volumes. Look closely. You'll see down at the bottom, in one corner, there's a cloud. Look closely at the cloud. You'll see Mahavishnu. That's the Mahatattva. He's reclining on the causal ocean in the Mahatattva. And then the rest of the painting is the vastness of the spiritual sky. It's blue. And within that spiritual sky, there's Vaikuntha planets. And then over here in the corner is Krishna Loka. Look closely next time you're home or you have your Bhagavatam set with you. Look closely and you'll see Lord Chaitanya and his Sankirtan party dancing in Krishna Loka. That portion or quadrant of Krishna Loka is where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is, in the spiritual sky. And he manifests eternally this Dham called Navadvip Dham. We heard that's his Nila Shakti, or Lila Shakti, or Durga Shakti. And it's the crest jewel of all holy places, because holy places are, they have their spiritual counterpart in the spiritual realm. And even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has not appeared, it's an eternal abode. The photograph you see here is the photograph of the deity of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's father, whose name was Jagannath. Because he was a Brahmana, he had the title Jagannath Mishra. And he worshipped this Adhoksaja Vishnu deity. How are we doing with time? It's 7 minutes before 6. Should I hurry up or should I tell a little story? Tell a story? He said okay. So if you get restless, I don't know what to do. We can blame him. After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, can I have everyone's attention? After Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, the Ganges shifted its course. It sometimes happens. And the place that was the childhood place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was underwater. The house of Jagannath Mishra, everything underwater. And over the years and years and years, several hundred years, the Ganges then finally shifted back to much like its original course. When excavating this temple, here's the temple. Well, I'll show you shortly the temple. The birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was lost. It was discovered much later by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, one of our acharyas in disciplic succession. And when his son's Bhakti Siddhanta, our spiritual master, was digging the foundation for the temple, they found this in the mud. This is the deity of Jagannath Mishra. It's now on the altar, no longer in the mud. It's on the altar right in front of the deities. Something like you might see a Shalagram Shila. In this painting, you see a full moon night. This is when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was to appear. He appeared not only on the full moon night, but a particular full moon night. A particular full moon night means when there was a lunar eclipse. Because what happens in India, when there's a lunar eclipse, at least amongst religious people, and many people during his time were quite religious, they were, interested in demigod worship a lot, but they knew what the Vedas say. when there's a lunar eclipse, what do? You go to a sacred river, in this case the Ganges, half immersed in water, and loudly call out the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Let's hear you say it. The whole thing. Hare Krishna. Come on. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Rama. Hare Rama. What's the rest? You know, you're just making like you don't know. You're checking me out to see if I know. Okay. And for hours, for some time when the lunar eclipse was going on, everyone was loudly calling out Lord Chaitanya's for his appearance. They didn't know it was because of his appearance, but he appeared at that time when everyone was loudly calling out the holy name. Very appropriate for the one who's giving the Yuga Dharma. Shh, 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 shh. So that's the appearance. That's tonight. Look up. Won't be an eclipse, but you'll see the full moon. And here's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as he grew up as a young boy and then gradually as a young adult. His mind is on Radha and Krishna. He's in the mood of Radha, loving Krishna. He's in the complexion of Radha, which is golden. And he's contemplating the qualities of Krishna that attract the love of Srimati Radharani. Later on, we heard, he took sannyas. And when he had taken sannyas, this is a painting showing one of the shiksha sections. There are 5 shiksha sections, or teachings of Lord Chaitanya sections. This is one, where he's meeting in Varanasi a sannyasi named Prakashananda Saraswati, who had thousands of sannyas followers. And he was training them very meticulously in impersonalism. And Lord Chaitanya didn't want to associate with them, but things happened that he was persuaded to accept their invitation. So when he accepted their invitation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't go into their assembly. He sat in the place where you wash your feet. Now in India, people go barefoot. And before you enter into a holy place, you wash your feet. Shh. Whoever has the small child, can you do the needful? Can you take your small child into another room, please, like right now? Thank you very much. Children are nice, but when they make noise, you know what to do. So he sat by the foot bath. You see next to him there's a pitcher, because then next to the pitcher there's a bowl, and that's where they wash their feet. And it's dirty. He sat down in the dirty place, and the chief sannyasi, Prakashananda, came out and said, "Why are you sitting there? You know, I'm not fit to be in your assembly. You're all such elevated persons." He took a very humble, although he's Krishna himself, he took this humble position, and Prakashananda Saraswati invited him. They had some discussion on Vedanta Sutra or Brahma Sutra, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave such a clear and cogent explanation of Brahma Sutra that Prakashananda Saraswati was astonished. Very simple. You can read in Chaitanya Charitamrita. There's discussion on this topic. And although he's the leader of impersonal sannyasis, he became a devotee. And when he became a devotee, his thousands of followers became devotees. Called multi-level marketing. You all know about that term. So he gave teachings of Sarvadharmam Parijyaja, Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja. He gave those teachings in different ways, in different times, to different people. Here's another sculpture, bas-relief sculpture. And there you see by his feet, there's all the shoes. And Prakashananda Saraswati is inviting him to come in their assembly. And there's another Shiksha section, or teachings of Lord Chaitanya section, where Sarvabhauma Acharya, I'm not going to go into it because of time, but it's in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Sarvabhauma Acharya was amongst the most learned persons in the whole planet. He was a grahasta, but he had thousands of sannyas students, and he saw this young 24-year-old sannyasi who was so beautiful, etc., and said, how are you going to maintain your vows as sannyas? You're going to have a problem. If you like, I can give you teachings in Brahma Sutra, and then you'll be protected. So for 7 days, Mahaprabhu said, okay. For 7 days, he instructed on into the night, and then the next day and 7 days. Then the 8th morning, he asked, you don't say anything. I don't know if you're understanding or not understanding. And Lord Chaitanya said, well, I very well understand Brahma Sutra, but your explanations cloud the meaning. The more you speak, it becomes cloudy. And so he then, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed, according to Chaitanya Charitamrita, his form of Radha Krishna. Or, in Chaitanya Bhagavat, he showed a 6-arm form. I don't have that painting in this particular set of slides. But when we have our rituals or services, we offer Mangala Charana, offers auspicious prayers. This is one of them. We can say it together, please. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gaura Tvishe Namaha. You know the prayer. That's good. Who were you in your previous life, anyway? You were a great devotee or something? Translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya, who is more magnanimous than any other avatar, even Krishna himself, because he is bestowing freely what no one else has ever given, pure love for Krishna. So there's Lord Chaitanya with tears in his eyes. Before he took sannyas, he had long flowing hair and nice robes, etc., giving love for Krishna. And he did this in the association of Lord Nityananda, who is also on our altar here, Chaitanya and Nityananda. And he engaged in congregational chanting along with his associate Sangha, Upanga, Parshada. This is the temple, that's the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Here's Jagannath. In that area where the temple is, there's a little shrine where it's actually said to be the house of Jagannath Mishra and Mother Sachi, and there's their young Nimai on her lap. And as he grew up, loving exchanges, etc., etc., etc. So we're honoring the appearance day of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu at Gaura Purnima, the full moon, Purnima. And this is just a little introduction, and I want to say 2 more things, and then I'm going to stop. You might be happy to hear this. Just this morning, Vaisheshika Prabhu sent me a little message, Happy Gaura Purnima, and because for the whole month, starting from the previous Purnima until now, I'm just following his inspiration. Vaisheshika Prabhu was a Prabhupada disciple that has many, that's 3 manys, wonderful qualities, and one of them is he loves Prabhupada's books, and he loves encouraging people to receive Prabhupada's books. Why? Because he knows that it makes Prabhupada very happy. And it's the spreading the flood of love of God through the world through the medium. One of the mediums is this literature that Prabhupada gave the world. Now, the writing is someone else's writing. It's Krishnadas Kaviraj, etc., etc. But the Bhaktivedanta purports make it very, very vivid and clear. It's a lot of work translating all of this. There's many other writings that he translated. So during this month, we've been making a special effort, many of us, myself included, to encourage people wherever we go. I'm a sannyasi. I travel every now and then, like all the time. People ask me, what's your address? I say, an airplane. But giving the message of Krishna on behalf of our founder Acharya, that's a sannyasi's life, and along with the message is the books. So, if any of you here in the temple room don't have Chaitanya Charitamrita, today's a very good day to receive Chaitanya Charitamrita. Take it back with you to your home, or could you stand up? This nice devotee is one of the key persons here in this community that helps do the Ra 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 Chaitanya Charitamrita sets. So see him. Yes? It's okay. And he'll see that you get a set of Chaitanya Charitamritas. Now supposing you're among the many people who already have it in your home, consider somebody that doesn't. A friend, a colleague, a co-worker, a cousin, somebody somewhere that you think would be a nice gift. So purchase a set for them and make a gift to those persons who you can think of. It would be nice if they could. What a nice gift. Love of God. Please take it. And the nice package. I'm not good at this. There's other people that are really good at it. I'm just acting as an instrument of our founder Acharya, who wanted people to receive Lord Chaitanya and his teachings, his life and his teachings. So please consider. I won't do the next step is, can I see a show of hands? I won't do all of that. Huh? But please consider. Here's your point person. He'll help you out. Take it seriously. This is Lord Chaitanya's appearance day. And receive it in your home. Receive him in your home in the form of his biography of his life and his teachings. And find somebody that doesn't have one yet and make it a gift. We were just at a home program somewhere, and like 12 people raised their hand in a home program and said, I want to. Because they already have one in their home, but they wanted to give them to people. So, thank you all for coming. It's an auspicious day. Maybe some of you came all the way from the Potomac Temple, the opening of their new temple, and big festivity, and a zillion people zooming all over the place there. But some of you probably came from there, and happy to have you with us. The new people, newer people, take Chaitanya Charitamrita home with you, or take one tomorrow. Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Gaura Purnima.
Yes, Rama Maharaj ki. Thank you, Maharaj. We are so grateful that on this wonderful day you came and give very nice presentations of the reasons for Lord Chaitanya, right? Really appreciate that. The Chaitanya Charitamrita is a very wonderful book. It's used for $140, but we thought we want to get to everybody. This only today, only is $99 actually. And then one devotee just called me. He said he'll sponsor $15 of each book for the first 10 books. So it'll be only $85 for the next 10 books. So if you're interested, you can go out or find this nice gentleman, as Maharaj said, and we can get the books for that. So thank you.
What's the dollar amount again?
$85 only.
No.
Yes.
Wow. Let me just share something with you. I was in Florida. They had a Gaura Purnima this month only 108. I asked Vaisheshika Prabhu, what's your price? He said 90. The one in Florida said that's because he doesn't have shipping. To get from Los Angeles to Silicon Valley, it's, very little. To get over here to Florida, it's much more. 85? My goodness. Take 10.